Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, it's 24 degrees here. They tell me that there's some sort of massive, nasty cold front coming in, but I haven't seen it yet. But that's okay. How's everybody doing? What do we have here? We have Gail with Kingsbury Crafts. Hi, Gail. And Cindy King. Good morning. Good morning, Cindy. Let's see who else is here. Oh, Barb. Good morning, Barb. Good morning. Doug is here. Doug. Good morning, Doug. Oh, what a day. What a day. Gail M. Gail. Oh, I am having a good time. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So was it last week or or 2 weeks ago? The 2025 version of Wilcom's um, ES software was released, and there are some features. There are some new features. Now, people, I want you to understand that you don't need any of this. They're just conveniences. Um, You need only 3 stitches. You can digitize everything with a running stitch, a fill stitch, which is just a running stitch going back and forth, or a satin stitch, which is just a really tight zigzag. So I guess technically all you need is just the one stitch. You just need to lay down a punch, move over, lay down the next one, move over, lay down the next one, and that's the way it used to be done 100 years ago. Let's see what Barb has here. Barb's currently feels like minus 24, be getting down to minus 50. Oh, for the next couple of days. Stay warm. Starts on Tuesday. Okay. Yeah. Bring out the woolies. So, anyways, I don't want you to think that you have to race out and update, upgrade. I never remember which one's which. The software. But I would thought today I would show you some of the changes that have taken place and what are some of the workarounds if you don't have the 2025. Because, like I said, you don't need all of this. Gail, she has in Brilliance, and there are other programs that seem so much easier to learn. Listen, Gail, it's all a learning curve. It is all a learning curve. If you How do I want to put this? If you switch up software, you're going to be starting all over again. Yes, you'll understand the theories, you'll understand the push and pull. That carries over from one software to another. But you're going to have to learn where all those tools are again. You're going to have to learn how to use those tools in those um, specific software. If you're working with in Brilliance, the Stitch Artist, I'm assuming, for digitizing, learn it. Lisa Shaw is an amazing instructor. Whether you go to one of her live events or see her at a trade show, um, or follow her on YouTube, she does an amazing job teaching in Brilliance. So, unless you want to spend the additional money, you can do everything you want to do with Brilliance. Thank you, Barb. I got tired of looking at the pale. It was a pale green blue, so I got some of that. Gail's talking about my background wall. Um, so I got some of that temporary wallpaper. Basically, all it is contact paper, and put that up. You don't see it, but the rest of the room is the way it used to be. And then because I went with a darker wall color, I contrasted with the white frames. Thank you very much uh, for your thing, your comment. Look who else is here. Letty. Good morning, Letty. Letty, we're just getting started. Good morning. Got your coffee? I got my coffee. All right. So there are some features. Oops. Sorry. Got ahead of myself here. You're meeting with Doug says he's meeting with Wilcom at Long Beach. Going to the booth. You're going to talk to one of the salespeople. They might have a really good trade show deal. That's how I got my Wilcom back. Well, when was their 40th anniversary? It was the year of their 40th anniversary. So 79 plus 40, whatever that turned out to be. Um, 2009? I don't know. Anyways, so again, you don't have to upgrade, but I'm going to show you what some of the changes and how to work around them. Which means Jesse, good morning. Jesse's in the house. Good morning. So we're going to add to scene. Oh, I never get this right. Hold on. There we are. Someday, someday I'll figure it out. I wish I could make this just a little bit bigger though. Okay, so one of the changes that's happened is that, and please forgive me because right now my software doesn't show it. Um, I need to get back with tech support to see what's going on. But one of the things that they're doing is in the font sizes, they have made room here, and I love how this is so much wider. I can see more of what the font is going to look like. Where'd it go? So, anyways, they have this column here that, and these are Chanel uh, fonts for people that have a Chanel embroidery machine. But it gives you recommended sizing for the font. For example, this particular font was digitized for 150 millimeters. Now, yes, you can size up and you can size down, but it will work best if it's within the size range that it was designed for. So, no big deal. If you don't know what size your font is, click on it, and you can go up here and see that this is a 10.67 millimeter font. Easy peasy, right? Um, Again, you can resize it up, down. Of course, I got a little crazy there. Turn it over. You can do whatever you want with the font. Okay? So font sizes, that's an easy one. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I agree. I agree, Barb. Tell them not to make the upgrade so spendy. I agree. Oh, you have an appointment with Brandon and the Hatch product manager. All right. Mashid, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Doug, yeah, I know. A lot of these features have been in Hatch 3, and us Wilcom users, that's been one of our, as the parent to Hatch, the parent should not be begging for features that Hatch has. So, okay. I guess the thing I could do is just go back to using Hatch. But I'm with Wilcom. I'm liking it. So what else do we have? we have this export Docker. Um, when you're using Wilcom, because they are fighting against piracy, one of the things that it does is when you go to export your file to a machine file, is it authenticates your software. And to do this, it has to reach back into, uh, I don't know, wherever the server is. And that takes time. So if you export this, there's now a Docker. And I'm going to export this file. Where do we want it? We'll just put it there. There. We're going to export this Docker. And if you look over here, you can see that it is exporting. You can continue to work in your service, in your software, while it's exporting. And it really doesn't take that long. It was longer, but not so much. The other thing that's really nice with this Docker, unless you clear it out, you can see some history for the session that you're working in. That's always a nice feature. Kind of know where you're going and what you've done. Okay, so here's another one. And again, the exporting Docker, what's your workaround? There really isn't a workaround. It's not overly needed. I mean, it's a nice feature. It keeps track of what I'm doing, but it can be done. Mighty Hoops. Okay. So in the hoops, in your My Hoops, there is now, if you scroll down, all of the Mighty Hoops are listed. And you can select them. Let's see. You can select them and add them. Do I have this one selected yet? And add them to your hoop list. I agree, Barb. She's saying once you are signed into Wilcom, you wouldn't need to be authenticated for exporting your files. Your authentication was done at login. Um, I agree, but I think they developed this authentication because somebody was working around that. Now, you and I are not programmers. We have some basic understanding of programming, I'm sure. I know I do. I'm assuming you do. Um, but there was somebody out there hacking the system. So, one of the reasons. Okay, so you got Mighty Hoops in here now, which is nice because now you can see your margins. You can see, because the Mighty Hoops, they're kind of a wide because of the magnets. All right, so you don't always know how much actual stitch area you have. Well, my workaround for that, I just created a template. And if it was something that I was going to use more and more, I created my own hoop. No big deal. It's nice to see that the hoops are already in there, especially for a new user. They're already part of the system. Um, so, it works. Any questions about some of these features? These are pretty basic. Corel Draw. Right now, I still have the 2024 version. They need to, your Corel version, when you upgrade, when you get the 2025, you get the new 2024, 2025. You get the next version of Corel. But it needs to be linked. Thank you, Doug. Hackers can get a copy hack to open and work, but to make it useful, it has to be able to save and export a file. That's why they have the copy protection. And Barb says that she thought you could already add custom hoops. You can, but remember the thing with the Mighty Hoop look is this is giving us. Let me go back one. This gives us the actual hoop size, right? If I were to create my own hoop, it would look like, let's see, just a standard hoop, okay? Which is fine, which works fine. But, for somebody new coming in, the Mighty Hoops, having them there is nice. So, Corel Draw, the next version of Corel Draw, it has to be linked to Wilcom, and that takes a moment. That takes a couple of days to get that link set up, and then you can download it, and it will link to your software. So, I'm not going to go too much into the Corel Draw. I'm not a Corel Draw kind of person. I rarely use it. It's just another means for auto digitizing, and I don't care for that. But here's one that I am really excited about: multi hooping. I have clients that make banners. Um, Maybe not awesomely big banners, but banners. And their machine, maybe it can only handle an 8x12 hoop. But the banner they want to make is 4 feet across, 2 by 4 feet. Well, how do you split that? How do you split that and not cut into your design file? Doug has a point here. Custom hoops do not have the radius in the corners like the Mighty Hoop features. So yeah, you want to be careful not to put anything up tight in those corners if you're using a Mighty Hoop. Okay, so here's a feature that I do like. This file, oops, let me change this over to, this file is 18 inches, almost 18 and a half inches left to right, and it's just over 12 inches top to bottom. The hoop that she is using, and that's, Barb, so far I can't justify the $900 cost for the features shown. I agree. Um, okay, but again, you don't have to upgrade. Wait for the next one, see what it adds. So, but this is a feature that I really do like. So you pick the hoop size that you want to use. In this case, we're doing a 12, that's 8, 9, 12 by 9. Yeah, this is a 12 by 9 hoop. If I turn this hoop on, that's, it doesn't split out very well. But, and I'm new at this part. If I've selected the hoop I want to use, I have the design file created. If I go up to hoop options, nope, that's not what I want. Cancel. I know it's up here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Hooping mode. If I go to hooping mode, it will take my file to another area. And if I tell it I have multi-hoop option, add the registration marks. It will add a registration mark for your lineup, and you say, okay, come on, what did I do? Hooping options, optimize Which hoops? Oh, crying out loud. I did this the other day and it worked great. Auto layout. There it is. Okay. It's telling me that it's breaking the design file out into 3 hoopings. And then once I have the 3 hoopings, I can preview those hoopings, and you can see it does not split out into the design. It doesn't cut into the design, which is great, which is exactly what we want. So we go there. Come on, take me back. Do, do, do. Okay, so I admit, not overly confident with this one, but I do like it. Now I just have to figure out how to get back. Auto lay the hoops. There we are. I'm back. Now, when you go to preview this, if you create your I've got this stupid little red X up here. I don't know how to get rid of it. So if we go and we preview this to look at the PDF, it's showing us the whole design, the colors, and then it is giving us the hooping, the multiple hooping. And each one, this is hooping 2 and hooping 3. Then hooping 1, hooping 2, and hooping 3. I do like this feature. I do find that I'll probably be using it. I do find that I'll probably be using it quite a bit because, like I said, I have clients who specifically make larger hoop sizes. But you don't have to. If I were doing this before, I created I created my own hoop. Let's see if we can, let's copy that. No, it's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Anyways, I created my own hoop template. Where'd it go? There we are. That I would figure out where my hooping needs to be, and I would cut it apart myself and split out the design. It can be done. I do not need the hooping, the multi-hooping feature to split out a design. The hardest part about splitting out a design is you need to be careful that you're not splitting through part of the design, because that's like a real bear to try to get back together. So yes, it's a good feature. It's one I plan to use, but it's not one that is going to make or break the system. So going forward, connector displays. If you take off the true view, you can see where the connectors are. Yeah, we don't need. So start connector, end connectors. We had connectors before. The only thing that was different now is that they're brighter and bolder. You can see them better. Um, just a nice bump up. But Barb, I agree. I don't know that I would pay $900 to get bolder connectors. Now, here's another piece that I plan to use. You can now map in design elements that you use. So for example, you purchased a font set, you're running the DSTs or the PES or whatever font set you're using. But it's not a keyboard font. So you have to import, oops, that's not what I wanted. You have to import the letter and place it. Then you have to import the next letter and place it, etc. And if you want to arch that or do any kind of fancy stuff, you need to use, you need to stretch or change it. It gets a little tricky. But now, if you open up Keyboard Design Collection, you can create a collection, give it a name, winter font, give it a height reference. This is a 1/2 inch, so it's a 0.5 inch. Character spacing, and it will automatically do some kerning, which is not perfect because different letters, different sizes, so you want to be able to move, but it will put them in there close. Now, highlight the letter you want, scroll down to its keyboard location, and click. There it is. Except I put it in the wrong place. Replace it. Yes. Okay. There we go. So and then once you do that, just like any other font, you can open this up. AB, oops, I used uppercase, remember? AB, create text. You can use all the features. Now you are working with machine files, so you're going to need to be careful about the sizing, because remember, with a machine file, you are limited as to what type of edits you can do. You could probably enlarge this, but it may get to be too large. So, okay, but here's what I want to do with it. This is my hat template. I use this template every day. And every day I have to import it into my workspace. I now have a letter set called Hat Placement that will allow me to insert let me find it where to go. All right, Bella. That's the one I had. Yes, Barb. She's asking if the font creator element for Wilcom does the same thing. You have most of the elements for the Wilcom DE. Yes, it does, but not everybody has font creator. Not everybody wants font creator. Font creator is for creating fonts. Yes, you can bring a machine font in and map it in Font Creator. And you still have the same restrictions. But in Font Creator, you can actually create fonts. You can actually create ESA fonts, which are native, which are sizable. But again, that's an extra feature in the software. But here's something. I also have my stars. I make a lot of stars. And it's nice that they're right there. I don't have to go searching for them. Yes, I know where they are. Yes, but this was so easier, so much easier. And again, it's a feature that I'll use. You may never use it. Me, I'm going to use it. Okay, so we went connectors, we did keyboard designs, rounded corners. Okay, the software now has a feature that will take your squares and rectangles, those pieces with the sharp corners, and they will round them. You could round all of them, or you can unlock this and round each one itself. Let's see, we'd want to. And then you can also round on screen. But I used to round corners without this, and this is what I did. I made my square, my rectangle, however I wanted it, and then I went over and created offsets. I would create 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 offsets. And then find the rounded corners that I liked. And if I needed something even more rounded, I would create a circle the size that I want, and then I would place it and round the corners to the circle. Of course, this is going a little bit faster than I would normally. Yes, Barb, you can create it as a motif, but again, not everybody has the motif element, and again, they wouldn't be able to create a motif. So, if I had the choice, if I had to pick one or the other, motifs or this update that includes all these other features, I would probably take the update that includes all the other features. And then, of course, we now have a built-in lay-down stitch. You set the offset. You tell it to include the holes. You can make it a shape, change your colors, the spacing. And you now have your lay-down stitch. In the past, I would select my pieces, I would do an offset, create a running stitch, delete those pieces I didn't want, copy it, because I like to have a line around my offsets, and then use this double square setting, which gave me a lay down stitch. I like that. I like that. Yes, Barb. And the new features aren't necessarily designed for um, veteran users who have been using the software for a period of time. They're designed more for the new user. Just like the machines now that have the auto tensioning. You and I know how to adjust the tensions on our machines, but new users don't. Personally, I think they should know, but they don't. It helps them understand. But again, these are just features. And we're going to close that. And the last feature that I'm noting here is the subscription base. One moment, please. I'm not a I'm not a big proponent for the subscriptions. But a lot of software is going to subscription. So I'm speculating here. At some point in the next 5-7 years, everything is going to be subscription based. We're not going to have any choice in the matter. But the upside of a subscription base, at least right now, as it's understood right now, any changes that are made to the software, any updates or upgrades or fixes, any changes that happen to the software happen across the board for the subscription based users. So if they had a subscription base and we were on a subscription base, this whole 2025 would automatically be within our system. It would just automatically, our license would reflect the change. Right now we're on, uh, we buy a per license. We buy a license that allows us to use the features that are in this version. Eventually, someday we may go to a subscription. I kind of like not having to worry about that monthly expense. Um, let's see, let's do some math here. Let's say they upgrade every 2 years. That's about 35 to $40 a month for this update. I don't know, Barb. I don't know what the subscription rate is, but yeah, it's more than $100 a month if this is correct. If your 1385 is correct, and that I'm not willing to pay. I am not willing to pay um, $100+ a month to get the subscription, which is only good for a year. When my cost, what I've paid out for the software, is going to last me as long as I want it to. I do not have to upgrade. There are people out there that are still using the 4.2 version. Granted, it doesn't have any Wilcom support anymore, but they're still digitizing, they're still creating. There are people out there who will not upgrade from the 4.5 version, the dongle version. Um, I upgraded to the DE version because I use my software when I travel and did not want to risk losing the dongle. But that was my decision. Your decision could be something totally different. And again, don't need to upgrade. Don't need to update your software. If your software is doing everything you want it to do, these are just added features. Um, nice, but the world is not going to stop spinning if we don't upgrade. Okay, we're going to end it there. I'm going to have another sip of coffee. Then I'm going to remind you that I am out of town next week. If I get a chance, I might walk. I'm going to Long Beach. I've got several classes I'm taking. Um, I don't. Thank you, Barb. I don't expect to be back until Sunday. Of course, you can always reach me by email, by messenger, by whatever means you prefer to use. Um, let me see. I wrote a note. Oh, remember the banner split that we did in our little demonstration here? That same client um, is having trouble putting them back together. So that's what I want to do when we get back. I want to take a banner and I want to put it all back together. I know we did this one time before, but it kind of, something happened with the video. But anyways, we're gonna do that again. And yes, Doug, if you get there first, save me a seat. You'll know me. I got my rolly bag that's gonna go with me. Otherwise, you guys all have a great week. Enjoy the weekend. Stay warm. Put on that extra sweater. And well, I'll see. Oh, I was going to say I'm going to try to get some film on the trade floor, and then just maybe just play it. Okay. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. Well, I'll see you again soon. Now, how do I do this? I know I do. Wait, where'd it go? Do do do. Again, I'm just gonna have to say goodbye. Bye, bye. I don't even know where I am. Bye.